The battered but proud people of the Empire State. From the financial and entertainment epicenter of New York City to the sleeping and empty small cities and towns of upstate, which once bustled with manufacturing, mining, and farming. We all know from inspiration, history, and nature, we deserve a return to the success and growth of generations past, a birthright being squandered by corruption in Albany, and the depredations of an insecure, scheming mountebank posing as governor, who loathes both us and himself. As liberty beckoned to enslaved peoples behind the Iron Curtain via American broadcasts after World War II, we now say, believe, rise, and join us. Welcome to Radio Free New York.
Welcome, everyone, to Radio Free New York. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for the day. Happy Thursday, everyone. I'm here with, I believe, Bob Savage. Bob?
I believe you're right. So if we're host and co-host for a day, do we get to wear hats or something? Or?
I mean, I'm always wearing a hat. Are you wearing a hat? I can't see it.
No.
It's radio. So.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you could have told us you're wearing your co-host hat. No one would have known.
No, they would know. Marsha McLuhan says the medium is the message. So it would get out there somehow, and I can't impair my credibility with your audience. I'm not about to do that.
Thank you for your integrity. I suggested otherwise. I tempted you. You're holding strong, though.
Thank you. Thank you for noticing that, Kevin. I appreciate it.
All right. So, it's been a couple days. We sort of had a primary Tuesday. We had elections going on. Andrew and I spent our time talking about that on Tuesday, and we don't quite know all the results yet. We know a few, like New York 27. It seems like Chris Collins' old district, Chris Jacobs. Chris Collins' old district, Chris Jacobs is the guy who probably won. But it's not. Nate McMurray's not conceding yet. Our friend Dwayne didn't do as well as he had hoped, but he's hoping to build from that.
What did he get? He got 1%, I think I saw.
Yeah. So
got to start somewhere.
You got to start somewhere. So you just keep building out, keep doing the message. I know Dwayne's going to be out there hitting the streets and talking to voters again for the general election. It looks like he probably won his primary. And then Chris Jacobs looks like he probably won his primary for the Republican Party. No primary for the Democrats. So that's what's going on there. Most of the other stuff, though, it's not conclusive yet because there's so much mail-in voting this time that it may be another week and a half before we know the actual results of the election. So one of the questions that we got on Tuesday's episode, a few people had asked in the online comments, well, what does Bob think of mail-in voting? Because Andrew and I were kind of like, we're okay with this, and we want to, shift it so people can vote online. We have our pie-in-the-sky dreams of being able to vote while, sitting in our mom's basement or whatever. Like, I believe that I should be able to vote from my computer if I want to. Bob, people are asking, what do you think of that?
Well, I'm not in favor of it. The problem is the security that's involved. How do we know that the person who's casting the vote is actually the person who is supposed to be the voter? And have you ever? I mean, this mail. By the way, absentee ballots and voting by mail are two separate things. We don't want to confuse those two, and I think a lot of people do confuse those two things. But so you mail the ballots out to people, and has anybody ever gotten someone else's junk mail? Has anybody ever had mail that was misdirected to their homes? I just think I think there's a huge potential for voter fraud.
Yeah, I mean they got this system out in like Washington State, right? Like, don't they all vote by mail there? I'm pretty sure they all vote by mail. Although I'd imagine there's problems, right? Like if you're just everyone's voting by mail, do you have to request it there? Is it something that just gets sent to your house? If that's the case, is everyone making sure they're updating their voter information? It's a fair question. With the absentee ballots that happened in New York State this time, which is not quite absentee ballots, but they're mail-in ballots. You could request for health reasons to get a mail-in ballot. And yeah, you're right though. Like, could your neighbor, your roommate, take that? And is that, significant enough to worry about voter fraud.
I think the potential is enormous because it's just actually when it comes to voting, period, Kevin, I'm kind of a voting purist. I'm not in favor of early voting. I'm not in favor of late voting. I'm not in favor. I mean, the exception that I would make would be for military personnel serving away from their home district, and the only way that they can vote is through absentee ballot, that sort of thing. Maybe extreme health issues, but I just think that if you want to vote, you want to participate in the process, you get your butt to the poll on election day and you vote. That's the way I feel about it.
You just show up. What about online voting though? Like I can go to apply for a loan online. It's secure enough. I can pay the government my taxes and my student loans and all that stuff. Can't we do the same thing with online voting?
I think the stakes are bigger with voting than they are with applying for a loan. The people who are participating in our elective democratic republic need to have pure access and without any undue influence and any funny business. And I just think the more exceptions and the more fiddling around we do with the voting system, the more we're inviting fraud. You just multiply the avenues of voting times the opportunities for fraud, and you come up with not a good result for the country.
Yeah, no, that's an absolutely fair point. And we did get a comment online that said, yes, I got a former tenant's ballot. So that's from Dale.
There you go.
Dale, for commenting in. So that can absolutely happen. That's I think a valid concern. I think listeners felt like I wasn't making the case against mail-in voting strong enough. They could sense that I was kind of in favor of it.
So they're looking for reinforcements from Savage. Savage,
yeah,
parachute in here and save us. No,
yes,
ladies and gentlemen, I am against mail-in votes. Yes, I am.
All right, except for the military.
Yeah, well, that's absentee ballots. I think that and there are ways using the military, not that they're the greatest record keepers or the greatest most organized entity in the world, but there are safeguards that can be built in there systemically, I think, that you can't in the general population.
Fair enough. So I still think that I should be able to vote from an app. I feel like there's got to be a way to do it securely. I don't want to look away from my Facebook app for more than like 10 seconds. I just want to switch apps, cast my vote, be done with it. I want to get off my butt. Is that too much to ask?
You young people on your phones, get off my lawn.
Yep. Nope. Just a millennial. Just not wanting to get off my phone at all. Not wanting to leave my house. Just gonna. I just want convenience.
Let's test this hypothesis. Are you on your phone right now, Kevin?
How'd you know? No. No, like you can see if sometimes I'll do it during the show, and I know like
you're
out in Radio
texting
Land
while
you
you're
can't,
talking to me. I know you are.
Yeah, out in Radio Land they can't see me on my phone, but when I'm on YouTube and Facebook and all that, occasionally I'm sure like I pull up my phone, I'm like, oh, my phone's in camera. Like they're gonna know I'm like texting in the middle of the show. Usually I'm looking stuff up. That's what I'm doing. I'm researching. It's for the show. It's not just to have a conversation. It's so that you, the listener, are getting the best information possible. That's why I'm on my phone.
It's so funny, the phone culture that we have right now. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I have a confession to make. While Kevin was just speaking with me, I looked at my phone because the lovely Mrs. Savage sent me a little text line, and I did read that. But I was listening to you all the time. What was your name again? Kevin. But how many of you have had this experience where you get on, let's say 390, 590, some expressway where you have the opportunity to look into the adjacent car while you're driving along, and you go. I play this little game with myself where I count how long it takes me to encounter a car where the driver is not on the phone. And I'm not kidding.
Not on the phone. Not on the phone.
Not on the phone. I will go, 3-4 miles and see no cars where somebody's not got a phone in their hand.
All right, so like not like just up against your ear, but like texting or something.
Yeah, they're looking at it. They got propped up on the wheel, or they're holding it. It's a handheld device, and they're just they're not looking out the windshield. They're just looking at the phone.
Yeah, I mean, I believe you. I don't look that much. I'm not. Maybe I'm gonna have to look now, like because I'm a big thing. I think you should be able to talk on the phone while driving. I don't think it's that distracting. Texting, though, texting is a whole other deal. And I see people, like, I've seen people play games on their phone while driving me, and I'm like, hey, could you not do that right now? Like, focus on the road. We're going 60 miles an hour down a windy country road. Like, pay attention.
Well, this is on the expressways for the most part. I mean, obviously, I don't drive alongside other cars on two-lane roads. At least I try not to. But look, talking on the phone is fine because you can have a conversation with somebody in the car who's with you. And similarly, you can have a hands-free conversation with somebody on the phone. And actually, I use the car as kind of a place to catch up on the calls that I need to make. Because they just tend to pile up on me. I just can't talk to everybody. So I get in the car, nothing else I can do, might as well return some calls. And that's fine because you can do that hands-free with the wonderful Uconnect in my Jeeps. But texting, I never text and drive.
Yeah, no, definitely good safety advice. Don't text and drive. It's a bad idea. Don't do that. But we're going to talk about, we're going to shift subjects after the break, talk about some Phase 4 stuff here on Radio Free New York. Thank you again for joining us today. Thank you for listening.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
I'm Las from Action Towing and Service. We are the biggest towing company in New York State, but we do a lot more than just towing. We will tow just about anything, but we will also repair just about anything as well. We offer a courtesy shuttle and pickup. We offer a drop box service. We have all these amenities that we've put in place to make sure that every one of our customers can receive the best service possible. Please give us an opportunity to win your business. Come down and visit us at 275 Marketplace Drive, right off of Jefferson Road.
A reminder from Abate Monroe County. American bikers aim toward education. Distracted driving is dangerous, so pull over and eat. Don't try to read your mail and newspaper, and stay off your cell phone. Make a mental note to be more alert, making it a habit to expect the unexpected. Remember to look twice. Save a life. Train yourself to watch for motorcycles which are harder to see. Join Abate, and your family will be protected with a free $4,000 accident policy. Ride safe. Ride free. Ride often. Abate. If you ride with us. Google Abate Monroe County.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to Simple Tech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that Simple Tech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at Simple Tech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at Simple Tech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
Welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for today, joined by Bob Savage, the co-host for the day as well. Thank you, everyone, for listening here. We're live on WYSL from noon to 1 today, this Thursday. And Bob, if someone wants to call in, how can they call in?
They
How
can
they join the conversation?
call locally if you're near the mothership here at 585-346-3000. That's 585-346-3000 if you'd like to join the conversation. And to our friends who might be listening, outside the immediate calling area, it's free, 866-552-1009. Love to hear from you.
Absolutely. And of course, we're reading your comments online. I'm reading your comments online. And thank you, everyone who's listening later, to our friends at WACK in Newark and WENY, The Patriot, down in the Southern Tier. We love you guys, too. Thank you for listening today. I want to talk a bit about Phase 4. It's supposed to happen tomorrow. Phase 4, which was originally supposed to be, I think, the final phase of reopening for New York State. The Finger Lakes region, where we're based, appears to be going into Phase 4 tomorrow. Everything's going down. Everything's going good, which, some states it's not going so well right now. But in this area, it's going well. But it looks like not everything's going to open.
Yeah, if it's Phase 4 and things stay closed, what's the point of Phase 4? This is like the latest trick that the Albany crowd is pulling on us. Oh, it's going to be Phase 4! Yay! We're finally going to open up. Oh, by the way, malls can't open. Yeah, give me a break. Movie theaters, nope. It's a meaningless Phase 4 for the most part.
Yeah, well, those are going to have to wait till Phase 15.
Yeah, 15.6.
Yep. So just in 30. Or what? How many? 2 weeks for every one of those. So just 22 more weeks. That's all. It's a short amount of time. We can't be too safe, Bob.
No, that's a great point. Weren't we told here since March that what we have to do is we have to flatten the curve. What we have to do is we have to cut down on hospitalizations. We have to cut down on infection rate. We have to get tested. We've done all that. So on the one hand, Andy Cuomo is bragging about how low our infection rate is and what a great job we've done, and then he continues to slow walk the economic recovery.
Yeah, and that it is really hurting people too. Again, gyms are no longer going to be able to open in Phase 4. Movie theaters aren't going to be able to open in Phase 4. They're limiting some of the recreational activities that people thought were going to be opening in Phase 4. If you're a gym owner and you are planning on opening, then you're in trouble now. Again, same thing they did with the Phase 2 rollout is suddenly they changed everything after the expectation was set weeks ago that they were going to be able to open at this time period. If it couldn't open because the cases went up or whatever, that I get that at least. Like that's the criteria they set. But that's not what's happening here. They just arbitrarily changed the stuff, which if you're a business owner, again, now you're in a lurch. You're stuck. You're expecting your employees to come back this week, and now, what are you gonna do? What you got to tell those employees? Oh, we're gonna have to sit around for another at least 2 weeks, maybe more, depending on when the governor changes his mind.
Want to throw in this gym story? As long as we're talking about gyms, this gym story, real quick.
Yeah.
Oxford, Massachusetts, an escalating standoff with a local gym owner came to a head. The town moved in, changing the locks on his business, ordering any members inside to leave. This week, a judge ruled the town could use whatever means necessary to close the facility and took the first step overnight by turning off water and electricity to Prime Fitness, where the owner, David Blondin, says, I understand shutdown laws and rules, but enough is enough. Under the state's emergency shutdown order, gyms are not allowed to open until Phase 3. Blondin reopened his doors 1 month ago with the support of his members. Quote, you're going to have 25, 30 people at the most. Down the street at Target and Walmart, it's 100 people at a time. It's ridiculous, said member James Lazonis. Oxford Town Council Mark Reich, oh, that's an interesting and appropriate last name, the Reich, called it a matter of public health and safety. This kind of operation could lead to a spike in the virus. Are you out of your mind? With 25 people inside, that's going to lead to a spike? I don't think we should be impacted by the intent of one individual to flout the law. And Blondin is getting a $1,300 a day fine. And he believes the town has other intentions. It almost seems they want to put me out of business completely, he said. So there it is. There's the government boot on your neck, if you will, and completely unjustified.
Yeah, I mean, and then again, that's what it looks like. It looks like, the government basically seizing your business at that point, fining you into oblivion, and this guy's probably going to lose his business for this. And again, we've been saying this whole time, like there are great ways for people to be able to open up safely, to take precautions. You educate people on what the actual risks are, and kind of go from there. And gyms are, no exemption to that. You can figure out safe ways. Now, I'll say this, it's, Bob, did you see the thing with the gyms putting people in bubbles? Have you seen that one?
No.
Oh, I almost saved this for Fake News Friday. It's a couple weeks old now, but there's a gym. They put 4 walls and clear plastic wrap around all the gym equipment. So one person's allowed in that bubble at a time, and you can exercise in there. And that may be the future of gyms.
What happened to the CDC conclusion of 3 weeks ago that you don't get this stuff from surfaces? Or maybe I guess because of the nature of physical exercise, you're exhaling a lot more. Tends to be a lot more droplets. Tends to be sweat and spit and everything else. But I don't know. It seems to me like we're doing pretty well with this coronavirus.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what the assumption is, right? Like if you're in your gym, you're breathing heavy, you're projecting more droplets out, and that could potentially get people more sick, right? So that's why they built the bubbles around all the gym equipment, which is, a fascinating look at our dystopian present. But maybe it's effective. But people are finding creative ways to try to keep people safer, right? And that's how it is. I mean, and I don't know that that's any less safe being at a gym and in a little bubble than I went out and finally got to go out to eat for the first time. I know outdoor dining's been open for a while, but I hadn't been anywhere until Monday. Went out to Bill Gray's, got a plate. It was great. A little bit weird, they got the staff all have the masks on. You're supposed to wear your masks in the store, but again, I'm walking through people. I'm walking around people. Why shouldn't I be able to go to a gym? I go to some of these big box stores, like that gym owner was saying. Some of these places are packed. It's.
I was in Home Depot the other day. I got yelled at by not by anybody in charge in the store. No, I didn't have a mask on.
Oh, see.
If you go to Home Depot, there is no sign that says mask required. It just says, please respect other people, maintain social distancing. A perfectly reasonable admonition. And all the time I was in the store, I was very respectful. I don't want to scare people. They don't know if I'm healthy or not. And so that's fine. So I maintain that if we have to have 6 feet in social distancing, what's the function of masks? And if we have a mask on, why is 6 foot social distancing necessary? And if the two of those conditions are present, why can't we pretty much go wherever we want if we're wearing the mask and maintaining social distancing? But I don't know. It's just you saw in Washington State that Governor Jay Inslee now says anybody in public anywhere set foot outside your house got to have a mask on.
That's a little bit silly. Again, I think you're right. If you have both of those together, I think that masks do serve a purpose. I think social distancing serves a purpose, and if you have both of those together, you should be able to go pretty much anywhere. It's pretty effective, so it seems, as long as people are following those rules. Now, I believe we have a caller on the line.
Dave from Rochester. Real quick, Dave.
Oh, the whole mask thing is ridiculous. The wife and I bought a package of those surgical-looking masks. It says right on there they're not effective. I mean, the only thing it's going to stop is a loogie, and gyms are full of people that are usually healthy. That's not a risk. It's the older people, the infirm people. If you've got asthma, I'm guessing you're not going to be on the stationary bike or the treadmill. I'm just, thinking out loud.
Yeah, no,
ridiculous.
No question about it. And I appreciate the call, Dave. The curve, the demographic curve, or the age curve, if you will, of coronavirus, which was originally thought to be kind of a U, where you had a high infection risk among young people, a high infection risk among elderly people. It's now more like a J, apparently, where this is primarily a disease of older people. And last I knew, I think 55% of the deaths, COVID-related, were in nursing homes. And we think that number is artificially suppressed because we know that New York is cooking the books. New York had the highest, fatality rate for COVID, and particularly in nursing homes. And we know that that Andy Cuomo is trying to cover his tracks and make his disastrous order look a little less disastrous back in March.
Absolutely. All right, so we'll keep talking about some of this stuff here on after the break. Thanks again for listening to Radio Free New York. We'll be back soon.
More than twice the power. More powerful FM 92.1, FM 95.5 West, and 1040 AM WYSL Avon Rochester.
Here's the latest forecast from the News 10 NBC Weather Center for tonight. Clearing skies, comfortably cool once again. We'll drop into the upper 50s on Friday. A beautiful day. Low humidity, plenty of sunshine, stays dry. Temps in the low 80s, so nice and mild. Enjoy as we're looking at a big increase in humidity, chance for showers and thunderstorms as we head into Saturday. I'm Rich Cornelia on WYSL.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at Simple Tech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, Simple Tech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the Best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. Simple Tech Innovations.
In honor of the late Bat McGrath, a well-known singer and songwriter from upstate New York and a true friend of Camp Good Days, Lou Graham has donated a guitar signed by past and present members of Foreigner. This guitar will be raffled off to raise money for Camp Good Days. The funds from this raffle will go directly towards renovating the music activity hut at Camp Good Days recreational facility on Cuke Lake. The hut will be rededicated in memory of Bat McGrath. Raffle tickets are 1 for $10 or 3 for $20. The winner will be announced at the Music Hut rededication at Camp Good Days on a date to be announced. Visit campgooddays.org or call Camp at 624-5555 for more information.
At Victor Chevrolet, we want you to know we're here for your transportation needs. Our factory-trained specialist in the Victor Service Department can expertly handle any repair. Our concierge service can arrange for pickup and delivery of your vehicle if you choose. We're here for repairs, maintenance, inspections, warranty work, and recalls. Victor Chevrolet can help no matter where you bought your car or truck. And if you need a new vehicle, Victor can sell you a car virtually on our website, victorchevrolet.com, or by appointment at our store. Call 869-6196. Trade-ins, financing, leasing. They're all available remotely and at your convenience. We're here to fully serve Chevy customers in Victor, Canandaigua, Macedon, Fairport, and throughout the Metro and Finger Lakes. Depend on Victor Chevrolet, here for you with sales or any service issue, no matter where you bought your vehicle. Give us a call at 869-6196 or visit victorchevrolet.com. You can depend on the team at Victor Chevy for all your transportation needs, now and in the future.
WYSL. Smith Lumber and Hardware Center in Lakeville is your deck headquarters. Fiberon composite decking offers an authentic wood look, resists staining and fading, is low maintenance and easy to clean. Fiberon Good Life Weekender Collection has a 25-year limited residential warranty and is on sale now. $1.99 a linear foot. Visit Smith Lumber and Hardware Center, Route 28, Lakeville. See store for details.
Smith Lumber has Ring of Fire flares.
Show World. Show World. Mount Read, Henrietta, Waterloo. 8 a.m. to midnight, Monday through Saturday. Sunday, 12 and 12. 1 to 1 to open. Welcome in for open up DVDs, magazines, incense, quarter pipes, adult products, lingerie.
Show World now open.
Here's to support when it's needed most, like sharing $20 million with members right now. Get details about the ESL Owner's Dividend at esl.org. Qualification for the Owner's Dividend and membership subject to eligibility. Payment of a dividend is not guaranteed.
Schofield's Farrier Service, a professional local horseshoeing and trimming business for equines of all sizes, including mules and donkeys, serving Orleans, Genesee, and western Monroe counties. Call Matthew at 585-490-3960. Schofield's Farrier Service.
You're listening to Radio Free New York.
Welcome back to Radio Free New York. I'm Kevin Wilson, your host for the day, joined by Bob Savage, who's in studio.
Heidi ho.
Away from me. Yes. Can't wait. I want to get back to the studio eventually. I should get back there. I miss it. Miss you guys.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, get that eye contact going. It's a better thing.
It's a nice thing. I don't miss the drive. It's a bit of a hike for me, but I do miss being in studio. It's a nice thing.
Well, it's a great opportunity to catch up on your texting, though. Hop on 390 and
exactly. When else am I going to do it?
prop that phone up on the wheel, and just pretend that the outside world doesn't exist.
Yeah. Well, I put on cruise control. That's basically like autopilot,
Perfect.
Right? I just go along and write my emails and send my texts. It's all good.
Well, with cruise control, you can put your feet up on the dash and kind of like recline in the 6-way power seat.
Yeah, that's a great thing. Though I tell you, when that actually becomes a thing, I'm very excited. Like autopilot cars, when I could get a Tesla that actually does it, I'm down, because I absolutely will for real text and play on Facebook the whole time if I am able to. I know it's not there yet. We can't do it, but I absolutely would. I think it's going to blow up among millennials for that reason, just so we can text and scroll Instagram. It's going to be a thing. And
then the rest of us who really want to drive, because I like driving. I like a car with a manual transmission, and I don't know. I mean, it's just the driving that I grew up with. So I like to be involved with the vehicle that I'm driving.
Fair enough. Yeah, no, it's its own activity. I get that. I respect that. I've never liked manual. I learned manual driving. Never liked it. It's just not my thing. It's like, no, let the car do the work for me.
Manual driving? You mean like with a manual transmission?
With a manual transmission.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right.
That's what I mean. I don't know these terms. It's not. I mean, I know it's still a thing. My brother prefers that. My younger brother prefers a stick, but that's not me. But anyhow, so I did want to follow up on one of the things that was said in the last segment. Because I've seen this a lot, but that warning on the back of the box for the masks. What that warning is, and I appreciate your comment, Dave, but what that warning is it's basically a thing to cover the butt of the mask manufacturer. They just don't want to make any sort of implied guarantee that it's going to prevent you from getting sick. It's not that they're not helpful, but there is legitimately a warning on the back of the box, and it says, this product's an ear loop mask. Product is not a respirator, will not provide any protection against COVID-19, coronavirus, or any other viruses or contaminants. That's a real thing. It's not fake news, but it's more of like a legal cover their butt type of thing, so you don't think that wearing a mask means that you have a super virus shield that will protect you from getting sick.
Well, for what's the case. Reasonable minds can differ on this. I understand. Here we go with the mask debate. And again, I got yelled at in Home Depot by one of the customers, middle-aged woman. Sir, you're supposed to have a mask on. I said, really? And which made her mad. But I don't know. I also had a doctor's appointment earlier this week, and the doctor showed up, and I was in the exam room. He came in wearing his mask. He said, "I can't take these blanking masks." He said, "They're worthless. They're stupid." He said, "Try wearing this thing all day." I couldn't. I mean, I just come back to the plain and simple fact that your mouth is your body's exhaust pipe. I mean, I'm sorry.
It's one way to look at it.
But it's true. I mean, unless you've just been to a Mexican restaurant, your mouth, ladies and gentlemen, is your exhaust pipe. And so you are constantly exhaling, and the exhalation is your body getting rid of, waste material, CO2, which our body doesn't need. Plants like it, but we don't. Viruses, you're constantly exhaling all this bacteria. It's just, we're kind of dirty critters. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. Not to be gross. And you put a mask on and you keep it on your face for a prolonged period of time, and you're constantly re-inhaling all of your body's all the stuff that your body's trying to get rid of, right? You're certainly not supposed to wear a mask all day long, but I see people doing it.
I know some people do. And again, some people, have to for their job. And for the most part, when you have a mask, if you have it, those paper surgical masks, those are one-time use. You're supposed to throw those out. I've heard of people using them for like weeks, and you're supposed to do that. That is how you can actually get sick. Same with the cloth mask. People are like, "Oh, you're supposed to wash them?" Yeah, you're supposed to wash them every day. If that's what you are wearing, wash your cloth mask, for goodness sakes. Otherwise, it is going to fill up with grossness. It doesn't really restrict your airflow all that much from everything that I've seen. But I do want to bring up the idea of mandatory mask laws, because they're coming back in other states. In New York State, I believe the executive order has expired for the mask law, but a lot of stores are requiring it anyway. But I want to talk about what's going on in Oregon, because there is a mask law out of Lincoln County, Oregon, that is bizarre to me. And you and I think you and I, Bob, have talked about this on the show. And I know Sean and I have talked about it on this show. I'm not for mandatory mask laws. I don't think it's a good idea. I think that every time you have a law, there is an opportunity for violence to be used against peaceful people. If you don't want to wear a mask, I disagree with you, but that should be your right. You should be able to do that. And I don't think that the police should get involved in that situation, which is what laws do. Now, I think people understood that criticism. I think people out in Oregon understood that criticism. And so when they made a mask law, they heard that and they said, "You're right. Maybe police, would use this, and they'd use it discriminately, and they could use violence against people." These liberals, these well-meaning liberals out here. So what they did is they created a mandatory mask law because they felt like masking was important. And then they made a bunch of exemptions to that law. So exemptions are people with medical conditions, children under 12, people with disabilities that prevents face covering, and people of color who have highlighted concerns about racial profiling and harassment due to face coverings in public.
Oh my gosh. You can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, this is parody. This is
it's parody. Okay, all right.
No, it feels like parody.
It's not parody?
It's not parody. This is real news. I looked at it as this local news station. All right, they got to be wrong. And then they linked to the actual document from Lincoln County, Oregon. It's a real thing. It feels like parody though.
But it's not racist. It's not racist though to say that people of color don't have to wear a face mask.
I mean, apparently. I mean, to me, it's like, okay, if you're concerned about this, then don't make the law in the first place. If it's not worth it, then just don't make it. Just make it a suggestion. But exempting people of color specifically from a mask law, do the mask law, do they help them or not? Does the coronavirus not impact them?
There's so much wrong with that. I don't even know where to start. Behold, ladies and gentlemen, behold the self-loathing of the white liberals, who certainly are the people who enact this. I don't believe this was enacted by African Americans. I don't believe that in a minute. I think for a minute, I believe that this was the typical guilty white liberal who has to feel morally superior, saying, you know what, it's okay, it's all right. We don't need to protect ourselves from African American or other people of color who may be sick, because that could be interpreted as racist. I mean, it also puts on display the deceit and the hypocrisy of the white liberal elites. Masks are becoming like a religious icon in this country, and how we separate people, whether or not they're maskers or not maskers, and then they come out with this rule.
Yeah, I mean, just again, to me, I don't think it's still a crazy notion that laws should be applied equally to all people.
No,
right? Like
no,
that.
not
If
crazy
you're an
at
adult,
all.
yeah. I mean, maybe it starts to feel like it sometimes. I look at the laws like this, and and again, I'm sympathetic to not masking laws, but I'm sympathetic to wearing masks in public. I'm sympathetic to like police violence impacting minorities disproportionately. I'm sympathetic to that stuff, but I see this stuff and I'm like, man, middle America thinks these guys look like a bunch of goofballs. Like what are they even doing? Like we're creating race-based laws out in Oregon to exempt people of color from wearing masks. Why?
Again, you turn it around. I mean, imagine a law that gets passed that mandates the wearing of masks by people of color, but whites don't have to.
Yeah, no, if you flipped it around, it would look bonkers and racist.
Because it is bonkers and it is racist either way.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll continue this discussion and maybe some other stuff in the last segment coming up. Thanks again for listening to Radio Free New York. Talk to you soon.
Why do businesses choose to move their website from Wix and Squarespace to SimpleTech Innovations? Maybe it's their excellent customer service or attention to detail. Maybe it's their ability to give a truly customized solution. Or perhaps they just like the fact that SimpleTech is a local small business that builds great relationships with its clients. Whatever the reason may be, you can rest assured knowing that the local team at SimpleTech has your best interest in mind when building or updating your website. They're hands-on and love helping customers achieve their goals. But don't take my word for it. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. If your website doesn't match your dreams or isn't achieving your goals, give the professionals at SimpleTech Innovations a call today for a consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Aircraft Environmental Systems proudly supports Radio Free New York. Rochester-based leaders in climate simulation chambers for America's R&D laboratories. We're experts in troubleshooting, calibrations, custom designs, and consulting for more than 40 years. Industry pioneers, we created the first ever fleet of temperature, humidity, and altitude test chambers available to rent coast to coast. Trained and trusted by environmental chamber manufacturers, we are ACES. Find us at acesinc.com.
Fiorella, a family-owned farm-to-table Italian restaurant at the Rochester Public Market, is open for curbside contactless takeout Wednesday through Saturday. Lunch 11:30 to 2 and dinner 4 to 8. Fiorella offers wood-fired, old-world-style pizza with naturally leavened dough and house-made fresh pasta. Check out our Facebook and Instagram at Restaurant Fiorella for nightly specials. Thursday is gnocchi night. Call 434-5705. View the takeout menu on the web, restaurantfiorella.com.
Your business relies on computers and technology to operate. Slow, unreliable networks and servers can cause unplanned downtime and affect your bottom line. The experts at SimpleTech Innovations are here to help. Their preventative maintenance program ensures that your computers and network are kept up to date and monitored for any issues, keeping your business running smoothly. They also help clients achieve HIPAA, PCI, and New York State cybersecurity compliance to keep your network safe and secure. Whatever your business IT needs are, SimpleTech Innovations should be your first call. They've won the best in Rochester 8 years in a row and have an A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Call them today for a free consultation at 585-200-3182. That's 585-200-3182. SimpleTech Innovations.
Radio Free New York.
All right, welcome back to Radio Free New York. We're talking about some of the more interesting masking laws coming out of this country. I looked up their website, and they apparently updated the order a couple days ago to remove that part of it. The people of color being exempted from it. I guess they got enough people who were scratching their heads at that and wondering what on earth they were thinking.
Or shaking their fists.
Yeah.
I think that this is standard operating procedure for the left. I think they put outrageous stuff out there just to see how far they can push the narrative. And what they do is they back away and pretend like it never happened, which is obviously what's going on here. But the scary thing about some of these things, like Jay Inslee's masks for everyone all the time order, is this is observed by the likes of Andy Cuomo, who watches, observes, and learns. And before you know it, that sets a precedent for us.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Andrew Cuomo would have no issue taking the lead on ridiculous draconian laws. He seems to want the national spotlight on this. By the way, Bob, did you see the video that he did to commemorate his last day of press conferences?
Oh my gosh. No, but when the press conferences ended, I did buy a round of drinks for everybody, I got to say.
Hooray, we don't have to hear from Governor Cuomo every day. I mean, we get more stuff like the travel restrictions, and maybe we get in that in a second. But yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, there's a whole video just glorifying the governor's team for what a great job that he did.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, King Andy, for saving all of us.
No, thank you for the slaughterhouse of New York nursing homes. Yeah, the great job. And then figuring out a way to lie about it afterwards.
Yep. Lie, shift blame, as any professional politician would do. Good job.
Especially the incompetent ones, because they have to lie so much more often.
Yeah. So absolutely ridiculous, but yeah, I mean, this type of stuff, like, again, the outdoor thing, I'm not totally with the end of mask thing, but like, you don't have to wear it outdoors all the time. If you're not near anyone, you're outside, you don't need to wear a mask. That's silly. You're not near anyone. It's there to prevent the spread of disease. If you're out in the woods by yourself or with someone in your household, wearing a mask out there ain't going to do anything.
Again, being the observer of people in traffic that I am, how many times do you see a driver, the only person in the car driving along with a mask on?
Yeah, so like, I get it. If you're going from one store to another in like 5 seconds, you don't want to touch your face. I get that. If you're wearing it on the highway for like 40 minutes,
that's right. Not only do you have a mask on, you are surrounded by 3,800 pounds of steel, glass, aluminum, plastic. You're hermetically sealed with a climate control system operating. What do you need the mask for?
Yeah. Y'all ain't doing anything at that point. Because, like I said, there's a thing that goes too far. People like, because walking around my neighborhood, I'll see that sometimes too. And, we're walking outside. I'm staying far apart from people. I want to respect their personal space, but people get upset sometimes. And I don't wear a mask walking my dog because, again, I'm not near anyone. But it can be taken too far.
Yeah.
I'll give you all that.
I
think there's some use to it, but it can be taken too far.
Well, yeah, I think the primary use in those circumstances, frankly, is virtue signaling.
I think that's all it is. I mean, that is part of it. It's to show that you are serious about the disease. And again, it is a real thing. It's out there. Texas is facing some issues right now. Florida is facing some issues right now, which is why our dear leader, Andrew Cuomo, has issued some new travel restrictions in partnership with several other states in the region to say that if you are from Florida, or a couple other hotspot states, that if you're coming into New York, you got to be quarantined, which Andrew Cuomo was very upset about when it was happening to New Yorkers. Understandably so. I didn't like it. We didn't like it. We want to talk about it. But now shoes on the other foot. If you're coming in from one of these other states, or even just going down there for a vacation or whatever, you got to do a quarantine. That's what it is. So good luck if you don't have 2 to 4 weeks of just hanging out and you don't need to be anywhere. Otherwise, you're stuck.
Well, that's a great move because I think that there are aspects of the New York State economy that Andy Cuomo has not trashed yet, and what this will have, of course, is a major negative impact on tourism in New York, which is supposedly one of our big rainmakers here. So yeah, let's make sure that we put a wet blanket on that as well, and try to keep the state economy as moribund as possible.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like, again, you're outdoors, you're out in space. Like, you can go up to the Adirondacks. You can socially distance up there. You can find ways to go out and camp safely. And I want to mention all the states, too, because I closed my article before I could do it. Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Utah, and Texas.
So even if Disney World was open, you wouldn't be able to get back without quarantining. Well, that's just great.
That's the problem. So the Libertarians, the Libertarian Party, is supposed to have their convention down in Orlando July 9th.
Oh, no.
So us New York delegates, we're like, all right, well, how do we go? We're supposed to be quarantined down in Florida. If we go down there, they see you have New York plates, or if you fly down there, they want you to quarantine for 2 weeks. We're probably about to miss the boat on that right now. Is that less than 2 weeks away? Yeah, so you'd have to go and do it today. You'd have to get down there today, quarantine for 2 weeks down in Florida. And then you do the convention, and then quarantine for another 2 weeks when you come back up to New York. So, good job. You've now lost, 4 weeks of your life, at least, to do that. You're in trouble.
Yeah, just keep on stacking up those abridgments of our constitutional freedoms. Freedom to travel and, assemble and petition for redress of grievances. That's all out the window. That was all just a bunch of old white slave owners, so who cares?
Yeah, all that stuff's out the window. Someone says fly into Atlanta. Maybe. That could be something. I don't know how to get around it. I'm not going to suggest any ways to get around it. I don't know what kind of trouble that puts me in. But
the town of Oxford, Massachusetts may come and shut down Radio Free New York because
that's right.
Because they obviously think they run the world. So
feels like a bit of mission creep, but I'm just saying.
With the emphasis on creep, yeah.
But no. I said this last time too. I don't like the travel restrictions. I don't like the creepiness of like driving into a place and they're inspecting your plates, and you got National Guard people telling you you gotta go quarantine for 2 weeks and somewhere. Like, I think that's a really dangerous precedent, especially if you're coming from a place like, again, the Finger Lakes region. The number of cases up here, very small, not a lot of cases. It's relatively low risk. We are in the process of opening up. That's a great thing. I wish Florida wasn't being jerks about us going down there, and I wish it vice versa. If I want to go down there and be down in Florida for a while, I should take some precautions while I'm down there. I should take some precautions when I'm back. But being quarantined in my home for a couple weeks, nah, not a big fan of that. Maybe that's what you should do to be responsible. But I don't like the state enforcing it.
Well, the nonsensicality of all this is underlined by some numbers that just came out about the recent traditional flu season that just came out. That's it had to do with the vaccine. The vaccine. Now, we're not hearing a lot about. What we need to have a vaccine for coronavirus. We're not hearing much about that because here's why. Turns out that the vaccine for the H1N1, whatever the most recent flu season was 30% effective. Typically, in medical circles, I am told that vaccines are not considered effective unless they positively impact 90% of sick people who get the vaccines. So it's 90% is the bar that they aim at. 30% is what we accomplished last year with the flu shots, and this is supposed to save us from coronavirus. I think that's highly unlikely at this juncture.
Well, I think it's got to be a combination of things, right? So the vaccine, it's going to be tough with coronavirus. The vaccine for the first SARS, I don't think it ever even really came out into full production by the time the pandemic had, the short outbreak had died down. But with vaccines, again, I think 30% effective. That's better than zero. If I had body armor that covered 30% of my body. That's better than 0% of my body. That's the way I look at it. So all these things in combo could be good, but it's not going to be any one thing. We can't keep the economy on ice for 2 years while we wait for a vaccine either.
Exactly.
We're going to destroy our entire economy, our wealth, and our society in that process. We can't do it. We've got to allow freedom. We've got to allow development, and we've got to allow people to find their own solutions. All right.
Yes,
so
assumption of the risk, it's called. Yep.
Absolutely. So thanks again for joining us here on Radio Free New York. We'll be back tomorrow with more Radio Free New York. Talk to you then.
Cancer of the